Are you a woman executive, entrepreneur, or maybe a politician who has broken through the glass ceiling? Good for you. And thanks for being a role model for women and girls everywhere. Because we know that in North America, only 7% of women occupy the C-suite in the US. And in Canada, it's less than 4%. I'm making it my mission to change that by building an empire of women leaders who actually take steps to lift one another up in business, the workplace, and in real life. We're going to change those meager numbers and break a whole lot of glass. If you want to join me to help build an empire where together we work on taking our rightful seat in the C-suite and maintaining it, visit my website, consultchristine.com.
Ladies, it's time to stop waiting to be asked to join the conversation. Let's get noticed and get you into the up-and-comer pipeline. I have a long list of helpful tips for women to do just this. So let's jump right into today's number 1 and 2 hacks to polish up your executive presence. Now is the time to start fast-tracking your communication skills. No more waiting for that big opportunity around the boardroom table to be able to show off your confidence and polished presence. I have a long list of helpful tips for women to do just this. So let's jump right in with number 1 and 2 on how to polish up your executive presence. My number 1 hack for you today is speak with purpose and vocal conviction. Women can give a major boost to their authority using their voices. It is important to pay attention to 3 key areas, and they are pitch, projection, and pace. Ever wondered why women's voices or their message gets completely steamrolled in that important business meeting? In a room where the male vocal range is the dominant one, women's sing-songy voices can often get lost in the crowd. Since we biologically have naturally higher voices than men, it's helpful for women to push into a deeper register. In other words, lower your pitch. How do you do that? Pitch. Push your voice out. Think about activating the core, just like you would in Pilates. But pay attention not to sound like you're yelling at your audience. The next thing is to pay attention to where the pitch lands. At the end of a sentence, if your pitch goes higher, it sounds like you're asking a question or you're very unsure about what you're saying. So when I say pay attention not to slip into upspeak, that's upspeak. What you want to do is you want to be able to begin your sentence and end on the same pitch or tone. Let's talk about upspeak. Let's talk about upspeak. Practice that a few times and learn the rhythm of it so that it becomes natural. The next is projection. Women have to pay careful attention to this because it's more difficult for us to get into that lower register and be able to project our message outward. Again, it's all about that core strength, sitting up straight, taking a deep breath, and being able to ensure that the person you're speaking with hears your message. This goes for ordering in a restaurant, speaking to somebody casually. There's nothing more frustrating than sitting across from somebody and having to say, "Excuse me, could you repeat that?" So, projection. Again, engage that core and try not to sound on that raspy kind of like, "Oh yes, I would like to share a few examples." That is going to get you nowhere in a business meeting or an important discussion. Projection. It doesn't have to be so firm, but you should feel it in your diaphragm. So when you're speaking, you're going to feel a bit of a reverberation happening in this area here. In this case, you should be able to talk to a room of about 40, 50 people, maybe even 100, without having to use necessarily a microphone. If it's, of course, larger audiences, you definitely want to use that microphone, and the person who's adjusting the sound should be able to register in terms of how you're projecting your voice. Pace. Pace is a really important aspect of communication as well. And if you're like many women, you often feel rushed to be able to get to your message or to complete your message in a meeting. We are socially raised and socially aligned to believe that we have to be quiet as girls And naturally, when we grow up as women, we tend to take on that same kind of mentality. You need to unlearn that. Take your time. When it comes to pace, the more you take to space out your words, the more important the message is. Here's the key in this one. Think about James Bond. It's Bond. James Bond. Hack number 2, skip the filler words. This one can be a difficult one, but the best way to find out what your filler words are is to do your own video recording. We all have them. We all have these little nuances that we lean on when we are trying to think about what to say next. What you do instead, if you think that you're going to reply with a like, an just, or basically, is you pause. And again, it goes back to the Bond, James Bond. Take your time. A pause in a sentence is going to allow your audience to gulp in pieces of information a lot more easily. What's the best way to overcome using those filler words? It's to practice it. So record your voice on a voicemail. Record your voice on a message on your phone. There's voice memos that you can use. And when you're delivering that message, you're going to recognize those moments where you start to use those filler words. And then what you can do is just simply pause and then continue on. You've got to allow your mind to do the free flow. So it's really getting centered as well with your thoughts so that you can allow the conversation to flow. What I do in this case is I say to myself, when I'm speaking about something that I'm confident on, I naturally am able to flow with the conversation and I use fewer filler words. So get comfortable with your topic, get comfortable with the material before you go to deliver something, especially if it's new. That's what I have for you today. I'll be back again with a few more tips to help you with your executive presence. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one as your coach to help you make it in the C-suite, have a look at my website, consultchristine.com, and we can get on a call to find out how I might be able to help you.